Who's your commander?
Good luck.
Equip.
Move to combat. Resolves.
Right.
Now, before you attack
Does
me,
anyone have an answer?
well played.
Good game.
Hello everyone, DJ here. You're watching the Jumbo Commander YouTube channel, and I have an exciting commander deck tech for you today. It is Gisa Glorious Resurrector, returning to the newest set, Innistrad Midnight Hunt, and this mono black general is exciting because it can steal your opponent's creatures. Gisa Glorious Resurrector is 2 black for a 4/4 legendary human wizard. If a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. At the beginning of your upkeep, put all creature cards exiled with Gisa Glorious Resurrector onto the battlefield under your control. They gain Decayed. A creature with Decayed can't block. When it attacks, sacrifice it at the end of combat. You know, when I first read Gisa, I knew the effect of stealing creatures was powerful. I also love the idea of interrupting graveyards, but I'm hesitant about the delay and the decayed aspect of it. So we have a commander that steals your opponent's creatures. I mean, don't we already have Tergrid? Isn't Tergrid more powerful? Yes, Tergrid is more powerful, but also more oppressive. I feel like you need to build a super high-powered Tergrid deck because you know that you're going to be the archenemy as soon as you show everyone the commander you're playing. Tergrid isn't fun, and people know it. You know, also, if you're planning on having your commander hit the battlefield and stick around, Tergrid might not be the best because you know it's going to instantly eat a removal spell that everyone's been saving since turn 1. That's how I play. I can't let a Tergrid sit around on the battlefield. But Gisa, there's a little bit of a window there. There's a little bit of play. I think that you can steal your opponent's creatures and not have the most competitive deck in the world. Instead, have a powerful deck that's fun to play that won't have you being the archenemy of the table at the very beginning. So, let's take a closer look at Gisa. The thing we need to focus on most would be getting that creature value. So we want to accelerate our commander onto the battlefield. We also want to protect it once it's on the battlefield, and then kill creatures so that we can steal them. Now, we can get more than one creature with edict effects. Cards like Plaguecrafter, Vonus Hunger, or Attrition. You know, if we can get a bunch of different creatures from everyone, then we're going to build up a huge army on our side of the battlefield. You know, this sounds great and all, but this feels like it can be really slow. Turn 4, you play your commander. Turn 5, you cast one of these edicts. And then turn 6, you get all of those creatures back on your side of the battlefield. You rejoice. And turn 7, you finally get to attack with those decayed creatures. Yeah, we need to accelerate some of these steps. So we can either accelerate our mana. Check, I think that's going to be a part of our deck. We could also accelerate our kill. You know, I think we can accelerate our ability to kill our opponent's creatures with some free spells like Deadly Rollick or Force of Despair, getting free value, so we're accelerating a turn in that area. Also, maybe giving our creatures haste, like Crashing Drawbridge. That might be a way to get attacking with the creatures we take from our opponents a little bit faster. But we do know that this might be a slow development. Luckily, we have a bunch of control mechanics in here as well. Now, if we're looking to control the board, elongate the game, and kill creatures, board wipes seem like a natural fit. But board wipes don't work really well with Gisa, because when you kill Gisa, yeah, you don't get all your opponent's creatures back. So there are a few that work. Phyrexian Scriptures will kill everything but your Gisa, which you've hopefully turned into an artifact. That's nice. Maybe selective board wipes like Gehenni's Expertise, that might work. Of course, things like Ingirk's Wake, which don't kill any of your things, would work really well, but we're talking about making this deck faster, not including 9-drops. So creatures are going to be dying all over the place. We can get more mana as creatures die with cards like Black Market or Pitiless Plunderer. We can get even more removal as creatures die. Imagine Grave Pact or Dictate of Erebos. Hey, I'm going to attack with this decayed creature, sacrifice at the end of combat. By the way, you're going to have to sacrifice some creatures and I'm going to get them the following turn. It just creates a really fun cycle. But also, decayed creatures being an automatic sacrifice outlet has me thinking an Aristocrat shell could fit really well in here. So cards like the Meathook Massacre, also a selective board wipe, Zulaport Cutthroat, Bastion of Remembrance, they all play into this Aristocrat strategy and maybe weaponize some of these disposable creatures I have in my deck. Of course, I can turn these disposable creatures into more cards, get deeper into my deck with Grim Haruspex. Remember, these are non-tokens, they're just decayed creatures. Yawgmoth, of course, belongs in so many different decks. Liliana Dreadhorde General. Of course, we can weaponize these disposable creatures with things like Priest of the Forgotten Gods. Also, create some mana and card draw. Ghoul Caller Gisa. Like, let's get the Lieutenant Gisa in here to sacrifice those disposable creatures and get more real zombies that stick around. Also like Rise of the Dreadmarn. Again, we're sacrificing a bunch of decayed creatures and then replacing them with zombies. Open the Graves. All of these fodder that we use to create more creatures and keep the Aristocrats plan moving forward and keep creatures on the battlefield. But what happens if our opponents stop playing creatures? They're not going to stop their game plan, but I actually like the idea of having a political reanimation package in here, just a small one. I'm talking about Exhume, Infernal Offering, Incarnation Technique. All of these will allow you to reanimate your own critical pieces of your Aristocrats combos or just value cards that are good. But it also lets your opponents bring back creatures from the graveyard. Look, this deck is not designed to be the pinnacle of competitiveness, and so I'm more interested in the fun play patterns of reanimating multiple creatures than I am about just reanimating my own creature, or teaming up against a player that's gotten too big too fast and so you need to arch enemy them to death. Political cards are fun, and Gisa's also just a really fun commander because you get to play with everyone else's deck, and sometimes people get salty when you steal stuff, but I have a feeling that with Gisa, you're just borrowing it for a turn. You're going to give them that card back, you're going to let them reanimate it, and you're going to borrow it again. Now, I mentioned you're going to be giving those creatures back, and that's true. Decayed creatures will die once you attack with them. Oh no, but there are some sneaky ways to keep those creatures, like Cold Storage and Synod Sanctums that have you exiling creatures you control and then bringing them back later. It's pretty clunky. I do like just Conjurer's Closet. That's a way that you can keep things that you are stolen from someone else. You flicker it out, it comes back in again, get those ETBs again. You also have some good ETBs in this deck too, so that's a solid card. I also like the idea of attacking with everything and then Thrilling Encore. Everything back to your side of the battlefield because you've sacrificed them, or just doing that after a particularly vicious board wipe. It actually just matches with the theme of the deck anyways, which is pretty exciting. I've also seen some weird stuff with the card Lifeline. Yeah, this card could just have you pulling creatures out and back and giving them to someone else and sacrificing. All sorts of weird loops going on. I also love the interaction with Nightmare Shepherd. Even though it's your opponent's creature, you control it. It's gonna die, you exile it, and then you get another 1/1 and you rebuy those ETB effects. Yes, that's amazing. But I think my favorite synergy has to be with Homeward Path, just a simple land. So here's the play pattern. You have all of your opponent's creatures because your deck has done its thing and you've stolen all of them. You go ahead and attack with them, and those creatures are destined to die at the end of combat. Once that trigger goes on the stack, you give all the creatures back to your opponents. You activate Homeward Path and say, here, have all your creatures back. They all die, but they died on your opponent's side of the battlefield. And so your commander Gisa says, oh ho, exile those, bring them back to my side of the battlefield next turn, where you can do it all again. This is a fun deck because it has a lot of really fun shells to it. It's political, it steals creatures, it has aristocrat strategies, it has tons of card draw and creature kill and interaction with your opponents. Not just interaction where like I kill your creature, but interaction with, well, am I gonna attack with this decayed creature and give it back to their graveyard? Are we gonna give you a creature? We're gonna team up? What's going on? And it's so interactive and fun. I think you're gonna like this deck a lot. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate that. I'd also appreciate if you check out Cool Stuff Inc. because they're the sponsor of the Jumbo Commander YouTube channel. If you use the coupon code JUMBO5 on their website, you're gonna save 5% off your order. I also wanna thank my patrons. They're amazing. They support me every single day. They're the core of this YouTube channel. Thank you, patrons. And thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments down below how you would build this Gisa deck. All right, everyone. See you really soon. Bye-bye.